Good morning, gang. I've done a dumb thing. Now I'm taking the great Artie Cat walk of shame. Alright, got the old Tacoma. Had one flat tire and just a ton of ice and snow on the windshield. Dwayne's my helper today. Some big giant banks of snow down here.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah, look at that big sheet of snow right there. It's like a cave down there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've done a pretty innocent, I think, mistake. I got the Artie Cat off the trailer and wanted to come down here and make sure the trail's even fit to drive on, so me and Sarah might be able to go out tonight and go for a ride. So no point in getting a babysitter if the trail's trash and we can't go for a ride. So pretty important to come down and check this out. So I got done talking with her and she told me go down and find out. So I was considering fixing one of mine and doing it that way, but so it's pretty easy to grab the Artie Cat and come down here. So apparently the brake was locked when it was loaded on the trailer, and I didn't notice it was locked. It just seemed a little bit slow on the get-go, and on the way down here seemed a little sluggish, but I gave it a hit and I noticed it didn't really take off, and I heard kind of a noise. I couldn't really explain it. Definitely not a squeak or a groan or anything like related to brake. Well, about here it started smoking. So I stopped right here on the corner and popped the old hood open. Hey, there's a snowmobile track. Somebody went up through here. Oh, sweet. We might meet him even. Ha! Wonder what he thought of our debacle. Alright.
Kind guy.
So my idea is, I got a ratchet strap here. I don't need the hook part, but anyway. Yeah, I hope we meet up with whoever was snowmobiling back here. So, there she is. So I opened the hood up and it was burning. It actually caught on fire. So, at the other end of the trail here where I turn off in the field and go up around the woods to my house, I found a pull cord, so it's not going to start. And all the two-stroke oil's on the ground, so the fire was in the back of here.
And it's going off.
And a disc brake looks like it got forged in a forge. So there's a little bit of a burn mark there, but the coolant isn't coming out. So this hose right here is probably burnt through. Oh wow, this hose here is cooked.
Yep.
So does that mean the coolant's gone? Dwayne, stand back. It should be cold by now. No, that wasn't the coolant.
Then it was something else.
So what is it? It comes up to the power valve right here.
Oh, I think it is the power well.
I wonder if it's just like a drain, just to drain the oil out of the power valve.
Yeah.
We're going to have to
Look that up.
Oh yeah, it is. It just drains out the bottom. So I guess we lost all the two-stroke oil. The coolant's all still there. So I'm gonna have to pull that tank off and see if I have to buy a new one. So Thank goodness Reed has got some snowmobile parts. He's actually made a deal to sell all his stuff, but I did get to know the guy that's buying it, so maybe we'll have to have a three-way agreement between the three of us and as to what I could buy. So we have to go see. Hopefully it's just a hose and a pull cord. It's always good to have a fresh pull cord, so go in there and clean the recoil and make everything nice and shiny new again. It's just kind of kicking the balls, but yeah, still a lot better than having an actual snowmobile fire. Thing of it is, with that area is, I don't know where the gas line comes underneath or over top or beside, but the gas line goes forward somewhere. Thank God it didn't catch fire. We'd be buying another snowmobile from a guy I already owe money to. So, well, we're gonna make this right and get it fixed. This may take priority over some other things. Dwayne, don't go to the edge. You'll slide down in the water. That's all ice, you know. So, guys, let's get this hooked up and get it towed home. All right. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, stand out here in the middle somewhere. There you go. don't turn up here on the dirt. Hopefully it will. Hope the pads aren't seized on the road, or that wouldn't be so good. Anyway, we're wrecking our trail, which really sucks. Alright guys, well this is sort of a fine how do you do. Have a new snowmobile on the channel, not introduce it. This may have been mentioned by name before. This is a no. I have to look again. 2000. It's a 2000 ZR600. It's got power valves, and I think it's got reeds too. I see a lot of oil around that plug. So, this is also one of Leroy's new pets. So, funny story though. This came from the same previous owner as that one, or the registered owner is the same, but they're actually, that's a 10 sticker, but they're both stickered 22, so they're both current registrations. And generally around here we don't update the registration if it's already current. So I guess the common understanding is there's no point in it. So I'm going to be ordering a batch of parts for this. First of all, a gas cap. That one was left, that fell off in Geneva. We forgot to put fuel in it. Or we decided not to put ethanol fuel in it because it's just not worth it. If it screws up the carburetor, needle and seat or whatnot, or O-rings inside, it's just not worth it. Like one person said a long time ago, you don't own snowmobiles to save money. And if you want to go out and have a good time, it does cost money. So, I guess my first impression on this, riding it, is feels very nimble and quick. I like that front suspension, and the sway bar design that Cat uses on these is very, very stiff. And that results in, it doesn't feel tippy. If I grab the handlebar and I try and tip the snowmobile over, it's very stiff. It doesn't want to move. So that makes it corner really nicely. I'm not sure like high speeds like 60, 50, 60 mile an hour, but or even 20 or 30, but if I were to, you know, turn the handlebars and give her the beans, it'll turn. It won't tip over. Like the Polaris always want to tip over. So that's a torsion bar. It's actually mounted in the chassis. This side here is welded in. So the old Skidoo, by contrast, the Skidoo loves to tip over. And it's also got a big sway bar of a very similar design. But it must have a ton of flex in that region because this tips over more than any of the other snowmobiles. The Skidoo is the worst. The Polarises are the second worst. Guess while we're at it, we could look at this sway bar design as well. It uses a long one-piece rod. So you gotta drill the rivets out and take the sway bar end bushings out of each end, and then you can just pull them through. I think I've replaced a couple of them. So my friend Ammon, he wrecked his in a ditch and broke the sway bar in one of the shocks. So I ended up doing that one, and then the black Polaris also was wrecked, so that had a broken one as well. So one thing I did notice you can do is the old Indies had a bigger, fatter, larger diameter sway bar, so you could upgrade it with one of those. So that's what I want to do. My friend Chris has one in the shop, so maybe sometime when I'm over there, I'll strike a deal and bring that home. So on this, I guess, had the brake locked, and I decided to take a quick run down and check the trails. And so I got down there and a bunch of the stuff was burning. And we'll have to take the airbox and the oil reservoir out and check, make sure everything's okay. So the track was actually locked up. So we pried the pads apart. So it looks like we're going to get new pads. Hopefully the rotor's okay. But we can't run it because our oil, two-stroke oil, is gone. And as I was fighting the fire, it was actually sitting there running. So I considered hopping on it and just running up here. And then I remembered when I thought about that, the fact that it probably ate most of the two-stroke already. So no point in compounding the problems by blowing up the motor. So the other thing, I guess the seat cover was pretty ripped, and over the course of the weekend it kind of finished itself off. So we should definitely fix that. Try and get an aftermarket one, probably wrap it. Try and make sure the foam doesn't get destroyed. Can't have it sitting out here in the sunshine for too long. Yeah, we have to at least wrap it in garbage bags or something for the summer if we don't intend to fix it right away. It would be beneficial to wait a couple months and then have till the part suppliers get their stuff back in stock and maybe the prices come down. But between me and Reed and good old eBay, we should be able to. Looks like there's electric solenoid that runs these Articap power valves. I don't know, I think that's kind of dumb. I like the Polaris vacuum actuated ones better. I mean, rubber diaphragms will go bad after a while, but nothing compared to what the salt will do to this and the motor. So no, this runs good, and put on 100 or more miles in the weekend. I was gonna get the Polaris out here and get the salt washed off of this, so I can't stand salt. So I hosed my Polaris off. I got that running. Well, that has been running, but we got one washed. I guess one thing we need to do too is check out the skags and make sure they're all right. I do have a couple rods of carbide in the shop, so we can maybe fix it with that or something. So I didn't specifically ask Leroy about that, but the recoil on the Skidoo quit, so we need to dig into that too. So it's kind of an overwhelming day because there's lots and lots of stuff to fix and lots of stuff to do, and it's just cold and miserable and not so fun. Oh yeah, I also found the pull cord. So I walked all the way back a couple miles, and there, where I turn off the road in the field, right there is where the sucker fell off. So I really imagine that there was a fire already back there, but I have no sense of smell, so I guess I just didn't pick up on it until it literally almost poked me in the eye. But I'm very thankful that it's not reduced to a pile of ashes, and I'll just end up spending a little time and money fixing it. But that's what good friends do, and that's what honest people do. They fix their mistakes and make things right again as quickly as possible. So we need to get dug into it pretty soon here, and then maybe probably pull it back out here and get parts on the way. So right now I need to order carb carbon needles for the Skidoo. So we're gonna be ordering some parts, order some Polaris parts too. So that's all I got to say on this. I mean, that's what the track looks like. Pretty decent. I mean, you know, the 137-inch rental sleds definitely track truer and straighter on the ice-covered snow roads. But this doing 30-40 miles an hour. I was behind. This was in the middle of the convoy. I was in the rear, and I could kind of see the Arctic Cat tracks going kind of back and forth. Slow, steady weave some places. So I asked about that and said, well, yeah, I was having a little bit of trouble. So I don't know if it was track spin or what it was, but I definitely noticed the same thing with my Polaris. After we got on the groomer, behind the groomer, there wasn't a whole lot of snow and the base is ice. But after I got behind the groomer, I could feel the front end and the rear end hunting for some sort of a trail or a track, and I wasn't sure what happens next, you know, if I kept increasing the speed. So I slowed down a little, 30-40 miles an hour, to try and keep my sled safe and keep it at a happy speed. So guys, we had a good time. Poor Reed probably got his already screwed up back kicked. This was not fun at all, man. It's pretty ideal. He's the most ideal for what the suspension's set up for, I think. I had Leroy sit on it, and then I stood on the back and added my weight on top. And it basically tucked the top of the wheel in the tunnel. So I don't think we actually bottomed it out, but boy, it sure felt like it. I mean, I bottomed Polaris out, and it's a good solid clunk when you bottom out, but this never clunked. It just, the back end will come up over a whoop and break your back. And I ended coming down the gully, or the ravine, the 2 miles of just terrible trail up there. The trail, let's see. From Westwind Power, you go behind a couple buildings over to the ski slope, and then this goes up from there. So it's about 2 miles of trail to get up to, up on top of the tug. So that 2 miles of trail is brutal. I ended up standing right behind the handlebars, and the front would kind of skip over the whoops. Bang, 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 bang. Front end goes down, back end comes up, down, kind of like a seesaw. And then with my weight right there, it seemed to do as good as it could, but nothing compared to the 137-inch tracks. And I'll be honest, I stand corrected. I did not expect the 137s to do that. I'm sure being an rider forward helps a lot, but I'm kind of debating about taking my black Polaris and turning it a 137-inch track, getting a little bit of more aggressive paddle going on, but I don't know. These are pretty sufficient for our area as far as riding. Our trails are mostly almost virgin snow and not groomed ones up there. I mean, they're not beat to trash like the ones up there. That ravine, that 2 mile stretch, doesn't get groomed because it's so tight and narrow they can't get the groomer in there, but I almost think it might be an investment on the part of the rental companies to get a big ATV with tracks on it and run that size of a groomer through there, because 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 miles of that kind of abuse, that's got to be really, really hard on the snowmobiles they ran out. But of course, not everybody is, rednecks like us that want to see what our machines can do and what our physical bodies can do. And I think probably all of us have in some way or another hurt ourselves because of that attitude. So, guys, that's it. I've been dreaming of driving one of these chassis with a nice light one-piece tub, one-piece hood, There's not a lot of extra parts, or there's really no extra parts in that suspension. Using steel for durability, not for, the component is small physically and strong by the use of steel, so it's not overly heavy, right? And then a lot of the stuff they've done is made it very lightweight to the point where I've seen these bars come loose. So they're pretty lightweight. I'm not sure. I'd have to go and look up some weights on these, but funny enough, the rated weight for the Skidoo is actually within 20 pounds, I think, of the rated weight for the Black Polaris, which is suspiciously low, I'll say. So it'll be interesting to have a third opinion, see what this is supposed to weigh. But I mean, the newer ones with the perforated footboards, the wider, they're just great. Absolutely great compared to this older stuff. And somebody ought to go slap the guy that invented these wedge style chassis, because I mean, I don't know who brought us ATVs, but ATVs are fun to ride in that orientation, position, and why didn't somebody get it through their skull that maybe snowmobiles would be more fun to ride if you weren't all hunched over with your knees in your gut? So anyway, that's a good question. So guys, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. I don't know, maybe get another good night's rest and we'll get torn into the next project. But here we are. We're doing well. Not hurt too bad. A little bit sore, but not even nearly as much as could be. So we'll be thinking about snowmobiles and what we want to get. And leave me your suggestions. Right now I'm thinking about getting all my junk running, selling it all, and then maybe migrating to something in the early 2000s, maybe a Skidoo Rev chassis that's been highly recommended by friends. I don't know anything about Skidoo Revs. I just know that the Cats are my first love, and I think honestly, this is basically the Cat that I fell in love with. We had one that was EFI. The very first one I drove was pretty much exactly this. And I got to be honest, it's not as good as what I first remember. I mean, the footboards suck. The low handlebars suck. The low seat sucks. It's about the same height as what my Edge chassis are, but yeah, it's pretty quick and nimble. That's true too. So not too bad. Just I'd have to get used to the operator controls, the thumb switches and stuff, but yeah, not too bad, but still not what the new Yamahas were that we were running. I think they were 2013s, 14s, maybe 16s. So I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I'll take your suggestions on a rider forward sled. They're not that expensive. I've spent enough money at this point, I would say, to be pretty close to having an operator forward one. So, and the other thing we were talking about is trying to build a race chassis, a race sled. So, we need to get our feet on the ground, get our wits about us as far as, what the magical experience is related to these. I can tell you for truthfully and honestly, quite frankly, actually, that the magical experience is not spending 80% of your time fixing stuff and 20% of your time riding it. At the same time, just absolutely scared to death that it's going to die on the trail and, storm at night all by yourself. That's not fun. So, it is fun to go out and have a good time and have a workout and really put the machine and rider through the paces. So it's also pretty thrilling to have something with a green color. So I have this urge to just go buy an operator forward Cat, something after the F series, the Fire Cats. But that might be out of my league. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what the new snowmobiles are like, what they ride like, what their reliability, fuel mileage is, so on and so forth. Or really what their characteristics are as far as riding and suspension and adjustment and quality and all that. So there's a lot of things to think about. Right now, I got myself pretty firmly pointed at 137 inches if I want to go up north. Whether that is an edge with a fusion seat, with an extension, or just another snowmobile altogether that's more suited from factory to be what I want it to be. So guys, I'm always learning. Hope you're always enjoying. We will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.